Hey there. So today we're going to be talking about solving one-step inequalities and then graphing the solution. So solving an inequality is very similar to solving an equation for a variable. What we want to do is we want to divide up the inequality into two pieces, and that division would happen right under the symbol right here, just like it would for an equation where we would divide it up under the equal sign. Now we have two sides to our inequality. In order to find out what B is less than or equal to, we need to move things away from B. So since we have this +1 on the same side as the B, we need to move it to the other side. The only way to move it to the other side is to do the opposite to both sides. So since it is being added by 1, we're going to subtract 1 because that is the opposite of adding. We're going to subtract these here. 1 minus 1 is 0, so that completely disappears. We bring down the B, and 5 minus 1 is 4. We're going to keep that symbol the same. So our inequality is B is less than or equal to 4. What that means is we don't know exactly what B is, but we just know that it is less than or equal to 4. So now we're going to graph that on a number line. So I'm going to create a number line. I'm going to put a tick mark in the middle with the number that we got for B right in the middle. Now I might put 1 or 2 numbers on each side just to fill it out. 6, and then this would be 3 and 2. What we need to do is mark that number with a circle, and the type of circle we use depends on the symbol. This symbol, less than or equal to, has more lines, so we're going to use what we call a closed circle to mark it. What that means is it's just a circle that's been filled in. So on the number line, I'm going to use a closed circle to mark the number. Then I need to show what direction it would go in. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to switch my color first. Perfect. So I want to shade in everything that is less than 4 to show that B could be 3, could be 2, could be anything that is less than or equal to 4. Okay, here is our next one. This one is 7D is less than -7. So we're going to go ahead and solve this one first, and then we're going to graph it on the number line. So again, just like before, we're going to divide up that inequality by making the division right underneath the sign. And we're going to go ahead and keep the sign the same. Right now D is being multiplied by 7. 7 next to D is 7 times D. So the opposite would be to divide by 7. So we're going to divide both sides by 7 so that we can get D by itself. That's going to cancel out. We'll have D over here. And -7 divided by 7 is -1. So the solution is that D is less than -1. Let's go ahead and graph it on the number line. So I'm going to put that number right in the middle, -1. Put a couple numbers on both sides. So I might put 0 here, 1 here, -2 here, -3 here, just to fill it in. And again, the symbol that we use, the circle that we use to mark it depends on the symbol. So since this symbol is just less than, it has less lines, so I'm going to do less work. That means I'm going to use an open circle to mark it, which just means it's a circle that's not filled in. So on the number line, I'm going to circle and leave it open, -1. Now I need to shade in everything that is less than -1, and I need to put an arrow to show that this could go on forever. So it could be -2, -3, or anything else that is less than -1. Okay, here is our next example. J plus 51 is greater than -45. Okay, so let's go ahead and divide this up by putting a line underneath the symbol, and I'm going to keep the symbol the same. I need to move 51 away from J by doing the opposite to both sides. The opposite of adding is subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 51 from both sides. This cancels out and becomes 0. So I bring down the J. And then -45 and -51 means I'm going to be keeping the answer negative, but actually adding the numbers together. And if that doesn't make sense to you, then you may need to practice with adding and subtracting with integers. But when we do this, we should end up with negative 96. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw that number line. I'm going to put a tick mark in the middle and put negative 96 right under it. Over here, I'm going to put negative 95. Over here, I'm going to put negative 97. And then the circle that I'm going to use depends on the symbol. This greater than symbol has less lines than greater than or equal to. Less lines means less work, so I'm going to mark it with an open circle. Now I need to shade in the direction that the answers would be, and it would be anything that's greater than negative 96. So I'm going to shade in everything on the number line that is greater than negative 96. Okay, here is our last example. We have d divided by negative 1.15 is greater than or equal to negative 13. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this up under the symbol right here. And here is an interesting point I want to make. When you're solving inequalities, if your variable is being multiplied or divided by a negative number, and in this case it is being divided by a negative number, we actually reverse the symbol before we solve. So again, that is if your variable is being multiplied or divided by a negative number, you need to reverse the symbol. Okay, now we can go ahead and start. So I'm going to do the opposite of dividing by negative 1.15, which is to multiply by negative 1.15. But I have to do that to both sides. This will cancel out, leaving us with just d over here. And negative 13 times negative 1.15 is positive 14.95. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw that number line here to graph it. Put 14.95 here in the middle. Now, if you want to on either side, you could either go up by whole numbers or you could go up by decimals. It's really up to you, however you want to do it. Or if you're given a number line to graph on, then the numbers would already be there. I'm going to go 14.96. And here I'm going to go 14.94. Keep it simple. Okay, so now the circle we're going to use depends on the symbol. This is a less than or greater than symbol. It has more lines than less than, so it's going to be more work. That means I need to use a closed or filled in circle to mark the number. So that's less lines, less work, open circle, more lines, more work, closed circle. All right, now let's go ahead and shade in everything that is less than the number, and that would be how we would graph this. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.